Hello and welcome to Watchin It episode 226. On today's show, Robert wants a redo, Donnell realizes racism was solved in 2006, and on Snowpiercer,
Spicy.
oh look, it's Roach. Oh look, it's Bogey.
Yeah.
Guess they're just here now. All that and more. I'm your host, Donnell. With me as always is Robert. No. Both of those, they're just going to have them just pop up.
I know.
Everything we've been saying for the last, 2-3 episodes. Where are these guys?
Roche has been around until he disappeared in the mountains. Right?
Yes.
He had been around.
Mm-hmm.
Loki was in the first episode and then just disappeared.
Just gone.
And they were talking, in that first episode, they were talking about, how him and Oz they got into a fight.
Yeah.
And they were both up on the mountain, and they made it alluded that somehow Oz killed Loki.
I mean, maybe got the jump on him, anybody can be taken down from behind.
I was just where is Boki? He's he was such a character to not utilize.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's
just like throwing Jennifer Connelly off screen.
Well, I was going to say
most of the season.
I think the budget definitely played a part in this. I mean, not that the actor who plays Boki is a huge one, but also I was thinking about this. Also, Audrey disappeared for most of the season until now, and then so we were talking about Jennifer Connelly. There's definitely were some, and probably maybe even Roach. There probably were some budgetary constraints for
Roach, not Roach.
Sorry.
Roach.
Yeah,
they calling him Roach for 4 seasons.
I have been. No.
I have been too.
My thing is there probably were some budget things that came into play where they're just okay, we're gonna you're you got a big role, but we're gonna kind of scale you. We're gonna get you all. You're captured, so you're gone, or you're healing, or in Bogey's thing, you're just gone. Don't worry.
They spent all their budget on getting the actor that plays Coulson.
Oh yeah.
I don't know his name. He's just Coulson, man.
Yeah, he's just Coulson.
He's great.
That role is ingrained in him.
Yeah.
Anyways, Robert, you want to do over?
I do want to do over. I want to talk about Overlord again.
Okay.
But I'm going to talk about something else first.
Okay.
In the anime centric, I have been watching. Completed watching because it's not over yet.
Okay.
Rick and Morty, the anime.
All right.
It is fantastic.
Okay.
And
I was not expecting
any Rick and Morty fan.
Yes.
Even if you're not necessarily a fan of Rick and Morty, you may enjoy this more than the regular Rick and Morty show. Because it's almost exactly the same.
Right.
It is an anime made in Japan.
Yes.
They do an English version and a Japanese. Well, they really do a Japanese version and then they do an English dub.
Yeah.
And they release them at the same
English
time.
English dub with the American voice actors?
No.
Oh.
No, different voice actors.
Different voice
actors. And it is set in the same universe, same kind of timeline, but adjacent in a way. Different anime. It was insanely different animation style.
Yeah.
And that threw me off at first. I don't hate it.
Okay.
But I'm just kind of well, why couldn't they? I mean, obviously, I guess they just can't do the regular animation style.
Yeah.
I should have done more research to give more names, but then I'd have to say a bunch of Japanese names, and I'm really bad at that. But basically, they give this famous Japanese anime director, hey, make a season of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. Here's you know it. You love it.
Mm-hmm.
Do some Rick and Morty, and he does. It is like every episode is one of those episodes.
Okay,
of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And it is much more of a cohesive narrative throughout the season.
Okay.
Whereas, it's kind of episodic,
Mm-hmm.
just like Monster of the Week. Now, they obviously don't fight a Monster of the Week. Sometimes they do, but it's disjointed, right? The regular Rick and Morty show. We're kind of following more of a plot.
Right.
And it is a really crazy plot where there's a whole bunch of Ricks that are getting shifted through universes and stuff like that. And a lot of, it's got Beth and Space Beth.
Yeah.
And it's got all the characters.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
Okay.
It took me a minute to get past the animation style because it is different.
100%.
Feels rushed, maybe. But it's really good and worth checking out. They're on episode 4 of 10.
Okay.
And everyone should check it out.
I was surprised. Before this came out, I wasn't sure if you'd give it a shot or not. I really wonder.
I mean, look, I'm in my anime stream right now,
True.
and I like Rick and Morty. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. The first episode, I was kind of like, I don't know, but then I kept watching it because I've got nothing to do sometimes, and it's really captured me, and I'm really looking forward to it each week.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I really wonder, because like I said, this for me at least, because I wasn't my finger. I love me some Rick and Morty. I watched every season, but my finger was not on the pulse. I did not see this was coming.
I didn't know either.
You
Who was
told
asking
me
for this?
one day
Yeah.
you were like, "There's a Rick and Morty anime," but there was, and I do know it did fairly well on YouTube. There was before this anime came out. They made a Rick and Morty anime short that was
interesting.
like 7 minutes long, and it had its own little plot thing. And I really wonder if, like I said, I saw it. It was all right. I mean, it wasn't like insanely great, but it was good. It was Rick and Morty, It was all right. It was fine. And I just really wonder if there was just a lot more fan base behind that I wasn't aware of, that people were loving that short to the point where they're like, hey, what if we got an actual, because the original short I'm pretty sure was not made by an actual anime creator. I think it was just the people at Rick and Morty dabbling with some anime, seeing if they could do it, and because it was officially through Adult Swim, I know that. And so
they call this anime,
yeah,
but it doesn't really have any of the anime tropes, and it doesn't have like what you would think of as anime art style.
Yeah.
But it's by an anime guy. So, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is what we think as anime art style is definitely a debatable thing, because
yeah, I mean, there's a wide range.
Exactly. Like I I'm not nearly as versed as you are these days, but I have, I do enjoy some anime, and I've watched a lot of varied ones.
This. It's got a 2.7 out of 10.
Ooh, damn.
On IMDb, and that is no, it is clearly, it is easily a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
I got to disagree with that, people. Maybe people are just turned off, or maybe they watched the first episode and said nope. But it's much better than
2.7.
Absolutely. And that upsets me, because that means that they wouldn't be making more.
Yeah. I mean, this may have always been a one-shot thing. I mean, it's not like they want to have two different, maybe they do two different Rick and Morty continuums or whatever. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to check it out.
I mean, this can easily just weave its way in.
Yeah.
It's not out. I mean, it's like modern timeline.
Right.
And it can just work.
Yeah.
Because of how Rick and Morty is. And it's not making any substantive, major changes yet to like the canon. Yeah. So they could just interweave it in. But boy, I hadn't looked at the rating. That is really upsetting to me. That it is only 2.7 on IMDb when it needs to be way higher than that. It's really good, in my opinion.
Yep.
So last time we
last
recorded.
time on Watchin It.
Yeah, I talked about Overlord.
Yes.
It had been a while since I watched it.
Okay.
And I don't feel I did it justice.
Okay.
So I want to redo.
I wasn't sure if you were going to come in here with a spicy take, like, oh, actually, it's garbage.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
All
right.
I want to. When I did it last time, I was my IMDb rating of my review of it was a 2.7.
Yeah.
I need to bring the show isn't a 2.7, but my version of the review was 2.7. I need to bring my version of the review up a notch. So I decided to rewatch it.
Right.
It's 4 seasons, but it's only 13 episodes a season, and it's 20 minutes an episode. That's basically a season of a Netflix show.
Yep.
Right. And, I watch a lot of stuff, so I can get through 4 seasons of a Netflix show in a week.
Yeah. Very easily.
It is so much better than I remember it being, especially on a second watch. We just recap last time. Guys plays a video game. It's like a full immersion VR game.
Yeah.
He stays online until it closes, until they shut off the game. He's been playing it for a long time with all these other people. He's the leader of the guild, and when the game, when the time ticks down to 0, there's a flash of light, and all of a sudden he's the character.
Yeah.
Which is this big skeleton mage guy, right? What I didn't talk about is that in this game you're able to create NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 41 people in the guild, and they all had created their own individual NPCs.
Yeah.
Those NPCs become sentient, right? And now they worship him as a god.
Yep.
Because he's one of the supreme beings, the creators of them.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the only one who stayed behind. And it's really
But you
interesting
said
that like
other people were. in the
there
game,
are
too.
others, but not part of his guild or part of his whole thing.
Okay.
And they don't come into play until like the end of season 4.
Okay.
Like that's what everybody's excited about, like the movie that's coming out and the season 5 stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're like, okay, well now we've got some other players that are getting involved. But for the most part, he's kind of the only game in town.
Yeah.
As far as like supreme beings from Earth,
from
right?
the before times.
And yeah, and it's because he stayed behind. They're just like, they love him and adore him. And it's like, hey, you're the god who stayed behind.
Yeah.
And they are all maniacs. They all want to just kill and eat and torture and run experiments on the humans. Every time they see a group of humans, it's like, boy, we should really feed him to this one thing and see what he poops out. Like, and so and of course he's just a regular dude. He's kind of a nerdy guy in his head, but he's got to pretend to be a god.
Yeah.
On the outside, and not only the god, but the god leader of a group of evil people.
Yeah.
And he's got this whole thing going on where, and it hasn't been explained yet, but like they'll slaughter a bunch of humans and he'll be there and he'll be in it and doing it. And he'll just be like, I don't understand, but every time that I start to, this is the character, every time that he starts to feel emotion about it and regret about it, some force that he doesn't know, like, just tamps it down. Just says, nope, you're not gonna feel remorse about slaughtering a bunch of people and committing genocides.
Yeah.
And like torturing, sending people to be tortured in a Sarlacc pit for 1,000 years while you watch. Like, and then there's just every character in it, the NPCs and all the like enemies, the good guys that are the enemies of the bad guy, because it's all focused on the bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not focused on the bad guy, but it's the main character is the bad guy. Are all 3-dimensional. They've all got their own kind of things going on. And while the NPCs may be 2-dimensional, he's like trying to make them 3-dimensional. He's kind of running experiments on them. He's like, can they learn new skills?
Yeah.
Instead of just spending all day worshiping me and doing my bidding, can I get them to have their own lives?
Yeah.
Should I be doing that? Because these are all like maniac, super powered beings. Do I want to let them loose? Do I want them to have individuality? Because who knows what they're going to do,
what they'll get up
to this world if I give that to them, if I train that into them. They'll spend 3 like, and then we also get like really in-depth stuff on the humans and all this stuff, and we'll spend like 3 seasons developing a character, and then just instantly dead. As soon as it gets to like a point where they're gonna fight, like the good guy, and maybe they've been saved by the main character.
Yeah.
And then they'll get into a fight, and it's literally like the guy is so powerful, he literally kind of is a god. It's just like almost it sometimes turn back time to kill him.
Yeah.
Like just it's so crazy. And then there's like a bigger like political thing going on. Because one of his like NPCs that's working for him is like a master strategist, and they're like he idly says like, I don't know, maybe like my goal will be able to take over the world. Yeah. Master strategist, worshiper of this guy is like, let's get on it.
All right.
He starts developing a plan. He starts putting things in motion. Like and that's like in season 1, like an early episode. And then like 2 seasons later, he's like, why are we doing all this? He's like, well, you told me that we should take over the world. So I've been working on that this whole time. And it's just the way things just like span. It's really fast paced, but the way that things span over seasons is fantastic. And you get in these weird political games that he plays because he's this evil skeleton mage god of this labyrinth where all of his people are working there for him. But he's also going out into the real world and pretending to be a regular everyday hero, working for the Heroes Guild and going on missions and stuff.
I didn't know that part.
But he's using it as like a Darth Sidious. Yeah. Like he's the Empire and the Separatist. Yeah. Like, or he's the Republic and the Separatist at the same time, because he'll go out there and do like what's it called when you fake an attack. I can't think of the word right.
A false flag.
Yeah, he'll do like false flag attacks. Like he'll trick people or force people or pretend to be people from one faction and attack himself. So that way he has a reason to attack.
Right.
And all those political machinations, like him weaving his tendrils with all of his minions into this societies and different kingdoms and playing them against each other. It is so good, Donnell. It really is one of the best animes of all time, and definitely one of the best isekais of all time.
Yeah.
And I really didn't do it justice last time when I talked about it, and I hope this time I have. And I've said a lot. I haven't really given any major spoilers. It really, if you like anime, you really got to see it.
Okay.
Even if you don't like anime, you might like it. Definitely the first episode's a little rough. There's some things that they do in the first episode that might turn some people off. But once it really gets kind of rolling, then you're like, okay, something's happening here that is not normally happening in anime.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. We're going to check that out.
All right, Donnell, you don't have to tell me we solved racism. We're doing it right here. White guy from the South and a black guy from the Pacific Northwest. How much more solved could it be?
Exactly. Yes. So this is actually a little callback to 2 years ago, actually.
2 years ago, 2022.
The reason why I know
what
it
a
was
time
2
to be
years
alive.
ago.
We were still kind of in COVID.
Yep.
They weren't trying to force us into the office too much. Grocery stores weren't packed. Yep. Traffic was still okay.
Traffic was still fantastic. Oh, those were the days.
I
mean, it sounds so messed up.
I give anything to go back.
I know. It sounds so messed up. I was like, I did enjoy. Even to finish this sentence sounds terrible because I'm like, I did enjoy some of the
2 years
of
before we
COVID.
really had to hear about Trump again.
So yeah, about 2 years ago, I actually talked about this previously. There is a YouTube guy who does. His name is Jarvis Johnson, and on his channel, he does commentary stuff. And he covered a little known show that was it was called Blackwhite.
Okay.
And the premise of this show was two families.
Okay.
One black and one white.
Okay.
Lived in a house together.
Okay.
And whenever they went out in public, the black family had a lot of makeup put on to be white people. And
you've talked about this before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the white family was in blackface. And they were to experience each other's lifestyles. So 2 years ago, Jarvis covered this with one of his friends. They talked about it and stuff. And they talked about a couple of the episodes. For whatever reason, they don't go over this. They never covered the finale of the show. So now, 2 years later, I was going through YouTube. They finally got back to it. They covered the finale and also came up with some other facts. And the more I learn about this show, the more I'm like, how the hell did this get off the ground? And also, how the hell did the people who produced it, because two of them are names that you're just like, really? Is two of the, or no, yeah. So that it was produced by this guy, and also he performs the theme song, and it was and that theme song was produced by somebody else. It was produced by Ice Cube, the rapper Ice Cube, and Warren G produced the theme song, which the theme song is very much a part of like, how the hell did Ice Cube make this song? And I think, nah, this ain't messed up. And how do you produce a show where you are regularly putting white people in blackface and be like, go on out there? And but anyways, so one of the biggest
makeup jobs range from fantastic to oh no.
Yes. So anyways, one of the biggest discoveries, and I love this, even on the Wikipedia it says this, is
it's ongoing.
No, it's been done for a while. Yeah,
okay.
They had 6 episodes, and I think someone finally was like, "We need to cut this
sorry.
out."
The way that I was looking at it, it looked like it had like that dash next to the 2006.
Dude, if it was still ongoing, I don't think this show could get made today. I don't know how it got made in 2006, but on Wikipedia it says the series premiered on March 8th, 2006, and I love this line right here. And supposedly documented 2 voluntary families of 3, one white and one black, in which the studio makeup of 2 families give off a facade appearance portraying the race that isn't their own for social experiment purposes. There's a lot in that sentence. One is the supposedly document, or supposedly, because I'll get to why supposedly. And the other thing is social experiment, because there was no experiment here. It was just messed up. And so one reason why it's supposedly is the black family were the Sparks. And it was mom, dad, and daughter. Okay. And they were all a family. The white family was, I can't remember what their last name as a whole was, but it was a mom and her son, and dad was just some guy.
Nice.
But they let it on to believe that this guy's name was Bruno. And in this show, Bruno, once again, remember, he's a white man in blackface who swore, I'm not racist and stuff. I don't see, he had the whole line, I don't see racism. I don't think racism is a problem these days, and that's what I'm here to prove. This man said the N-word so many times. There's a part where he's sitting at the dinner table with everybody, and he's like, I can't, like, it's like before they go out for the first time. Both.
Okay.
He's talking about, he's like, I can't wait to the first time I get out there and someone calls me my N-word, and everyone just kind of like turns and looks at him. And that's one of the things, like, they never tell you in the show. It wasn't until after this came out. But once you know, I've watched clips of it.
Is it any good?
If you want to see a disaster in motion,
okay,
yes.
which is what everyone's there to see.
Is the disaster. There are so many scenes where like, how did this show get made? But yeah, like going
because
also
it got made because in 1995, John Travolta did a movie called White Man's Burden, where all the white people were slaves.
Yes,
and all the black people were the masters.
Woo, woo,
yeah.
Woo, that's a show.
That's a movie. That's a movie, man. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So if you see the clips after you find out that Bruno was not their dad, the reaction of the mom and daughter, the more and more like, oh yeah, they were like, who is this whack job that they said they're saying is my husband? Like, we are not associated. They all have problems.
So that sounds like you gotta watch it before you know that.
Yeah,
and then rewatch it and be like, oh, that's why
there is that. But so one of the best and most messed up plot lines is the girl who is a white girl in blackface joins a black street poet thing at her school.
Okay.
Where everybody's putting together rhymes.
So wait, this is the black girl in whiteface.
No, it's the white girl in blackface.
And she's getting into black slam poetry.
Yes.
Okay.
So when she like really connects with everybody, she's like, yeah, I just feel so deeply connected. And it gets to the point where she doesn't feel good lying to them anymore. Yeah,
I would have
So she decides to come out and tell them, hey, know how we've been bonding? Well, I'm actually a white chick.
They did pretty good on her makeup.
Yeah, her makeup is pretty good. She's one of the better ones.
The white mom is real bad.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. No, definitely, I would say out of everybody, her makeup is the best.
I think the black boy, he looks pretty good. He looks like he's in a boy band.
Yeah, oh, that's one of the things actually the 2 guys who were covering it, they were like, he would kill it on Instagram today.
Dude, the black guy in the white face is like Ned Flanders.
Yes, they go out to dinner.
And the black mom looks like a Karen.
They go out to dinner together, and like you can tell they're trying to do their best white person impression because like the guy says things that Ned Flanders would say. I'm like, dude, I get you're trying to be in the zone, but like I don't know if you need to go this far.
Yeah. The white guy in the blackface, the dad.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No.
But the white mom's the worst.
Yes.
The worst. Oh my God. So we paused for a second because we ordered food and it just got here. And then we were like, okay, we're going to record the end of Donnell's segment.
Yep.
And we just did 10 minutes of some of the best
some good stuff
that we've ever done.
Really good stuff.
And it wasn't recorded because we messed up hitting the record button.
And then neither of us noticed. We were too enthralled with this show, Robert.
It's too good. Okay, well, we're going to try again.
We're gonna try at least hit some of the points.
But we're trying to do it a second time, and it's off the cuff. So
yeah.
Bring us back with the slam poetry of the
yes,
life.
As I've said before, and now I'm saying again. Yeah. So the girl in this show, she decides she was doing slam poetry. She decides to come out to her new group of black friends, and tell them.
So I watched a second of this.
Mm-hmm.
Of this girl, of her doing. It sounds like a white teenage high school girl trying to write slam black poetry.
Yes.
It's not good.
It is terrible.
I mean, look, she's a teenager. I'm gonna
Yeah,
give her.
yeah.
Look,
True.
I was not good at writing poetry.
100%.
I tried. I was goth. I'm still goth, but
at
I was
least
goth
you were
in high
writing
school.
your genre, I guess. You weren't trying
Correct.
to write.
I was not trying to be a black man.
Yes. Talking about the black experience.
And it was it as soon as look, if I'm a black person, which I'm not, obviously.
What?
Yes.
News to the audience.
I'm white. Look, I'm a redhead who is a goth who did not go out in the sun. I'm whiter than most white people.
Yes.
I am porcelain.
Yes, you're a different type of white.
Yeah. I am real white. I am like pearl white. Like I'm not pink. I'm white.
Yes.
I might be one of the few white people on the planet. Most of the white people are pink or kind of beiges. No, I'm white. White. Anyway, if I'm a black person in this group, as soon as this girl starts talking, I'm like, you're not from Compton.
Yeah.
This white girl in blackface.
Yes.
Again, her makeup is very good.
It's the best. It's the best out of all of them.
It's very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, I do think some of them. I don't think they thought this was a black or a white girl in blackface, but
because
I do
who would think that?
Exactly.
Who would
no
think
one.
that?
That's the only reason they probably didn't think it. But also, like I said, but I do think some of them like something's going on here.
Anything bad with the makeup, you can just be like, well, she's just a teenager trying to do her own makeup, and it's bad. We're all bad at the makeup.
But anyway, so she feels guilty. She decides to come out to her group of friends, and then, like I said, this is about halfway through the show when she comes out. And they're like I said, they're very actually acceptive and understanding, and they stay friends. And
Again, I need to know how the reveal goes. Did she like go in as white girl and be like, "Hey, what's her name? What's her black name?"
They all kept their names.
Okay.
Her name was
Annie. Is her name
Rose?
Rose. Okay, that works.
It works. Yeah,
that works.
Yes.
Okay.
Bruno
works, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, all their names. Maybe they just had the right people because, like, the black guy was
they're
named
probably
Brian.
all fake names. It's not their real
True.
Christian name.
Well, I think it is actually at least like when it like you look up the stuff and it says Star and I don't know. Maybe who knows?
Stage
I don't
names
know.
or something. Anyway.
Possibly.
But like, is she going in white and like, hey,
nope,
I'm Rose. Just so you guys know, here's the deal. Or does she go in and then she just like ripped off the wig and be like, "Ha, motherfuckers!"
No, she goes in and it's played as a very emotional moment. She's she's crying because she's upset that she's been lying to her friends. She's just like, "I can't lie to you guys anymore." And she's still in blackface too, and she's like, "Hey, I'm actually a white girl and I'm part of a social experiment."
I can't stop imagining it. I just really want it to be that she just stands up and be like, "Ha ha, N-words." Pulls off the
That's
wig.
what Bruno would have done.
The makeup.
Oh, and they do eventually.
Was she dropping the N-word?
No, only Bruno. Bruno's the
okay.
only person.
Okay.
And then so then they do eventually get to see her. As a white girl, they go over to her house for a visit and see her as she is. And like I said, they're very accepting of stuff. But then she continues to go to the slam poetry class.
I don't understand how she can keep going. You're just
in
out.
blackface.
You're just out. You can't go to school. You got to change schools.
Nope.
And I really hope that like the black family in the white face was at the house when they came to visit. Were they?
They were.
Okay, good. Because at least that tempers the mood.
It brings things down a little bit.
If it's just the white guys, the white family pretending to be black.
Yes.
With the dad.
Totally different
in
story.
Face,
totally different story.
Dropping the N-word everywhere.
Yes.
But if the black family in white face is like, no, you got to understand this is the whole thing.
Yeah.
They're like, look, guy. We got to talk. This is weird.
Yes.
But we're all in it together.
We're all in it together for some reason. Because I can't figure out why anybody would sign up for this.
Because Ice-T insane.
Yeah, Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, sorry.
Ice Cube.
Ice-T's insane.
Yeah.
I would love for Ice-T to show up in this show. Can you imagine?
It would be fantastic.
If Ice-T got invited to this house.
It would be fantastic.
He wouldn't even like pretend. He would just be like this. He would be there for 5 seconds and just be like, nope.
No.
Nope.
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 Not doing it.
I'm out. I'm out. I make way too much money for this. My house in Beverly Hills is way too big for this.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Like I said, they were covering the finale. I'm going to read the Wikipedia.
What is Ice Cube doing? I got to stop you. I'm sorry. I know I was going to let you continue, but Ice Cube.
I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing these days. I mean, I don't know.
Apparently,
he did some movies.
Was 20 years ago,
This was 20 years ago. He did some movies. He did some stuff. I don't know. Somehow he was on this, and it just flew underneath the radar.
Ice Cube was just like, you know what? I've got a lot of money. I'm going to mess with some people. I'm going to mess with... like, I'm neutral. I'm going to mess with a white family and a black family.
Yes.
But not really.
No.
Family.
All right. So I'm going to read the
Continue,
synopsis or the description of the finale from Wikipedia, and then I'm going to go over it real quick. So it's a quick description of this. Both families share the profound impact of... I guess it was only 6 weeks. So the profound impact the 6-week project had on their lives and begin to reconcile their differences as the journey comes to an end. Rose prepares for her final performance before a live audience at the slam poetry event. Live audience.
Oh, my God.
Nick, who was the son, and this plot made no sense because he's a black kid in whiteface doing this, and you're like, but why? Is Nick spends the day with an ex-gang member named Kenny G.
Wow. Wow.
Renee and Carmen...
That dude better have played the flute.
Renee and Carmen, the moms, make amends, and Brian and Bruno agree to disagree. But Brian goes out with a bang by calling Bruno racist. That synopsis is BS. There is no reconciliation. There is except a forced one at the end, which I'll get to. There is a scene where they basically have everybody come there and be like, hey, let's talk about our experience. And literally everybody of the black family is like, honestly, I don't really think I learned anything from this experience. This was essentially a disaster, and seeing you guys
well, because I mean, just like us, we've been
Yeah.
talking about the white people and the blackface.
Yeah.
We don't care about the black people
Yeah.
and the whiteface.
And
They just got to be regular.
yeah.
That's a bad way to say it.
They just
That's
got
not the way I
yeah,
want to say
that,
it.
Yeah, that's
They
not
got
the
to
way.
be in... I don't know how to say it safely,
So-
Donnell.
I don't
I'm gonna
know
get
either.
canceled.
There's no
I'm
way to
scared.
say
I've,
it.
I've dug myself into a hole.
No,
I don't know how to get out.
We're
Give me
pivoting.
a ladder, Donnell.
I'm gonna
Give me
pivot.
a ladder. I don't know.
I will say this. I want to bring up Brian, the black guy in whiteface,
thanks.
and his wife. They go out to dinner, and it's actually one of the funniest scenes. They're at dinner at a little restaurant with a bar. There's a white lady at the bar minding her business. She gets up to go to the bathroom, and she leaves her wallet just sitting there on the counter. And Brian's mind is blown by this idea that anybody would. And he actually gets up when she comes back and asks her, like, did you mean it? It's like, yeah, I know everybody here. And he's just like, I would never. Like, his blackness comes out where he's like, you're just going to leave your wallet sitting there? Are you out of your mind? And he's like, would you do it again? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, his mind is just blown by the concept. But anyways, so they basically said, like, yeah, this whole experience was like a waste and dumb, because it was. This show as an idea was dumb. I'm not saying that, but we as people can't learn from each other and learn about different races, but dressing up as each other and spending 6 weeks is not the way to do it. And the black family basically says that. And then there's a scene afterwards where...
Well, look, because the white family, which is the black family and whiteface,
Yes.
they just get to lead a life without hate.
Yes.
Or any negativity.
Yes.
Or looking over their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Or worrying about getting pulled over by the cops.
Yep.
The white family, blackface.
Yeah.
They learn a lesson.
But yeah, and the mom and
They
daughter
learn that they lived a privileged
definitely
life.
seem to have that. Bruno learns nothing. And really,
of course not.
Really kind of...
He was
like,
very excited about this role. He's like,
Yeah.
I get to say the N-word all I want?
Yes.
I've been waiting for this my whole life.
And he's like, and at the end of it, he's like, I still don't think there's racism. After doing this, I just feel like everything's good. And then, like I said, so they say the families reconcile. The reconcile is like a 5-minute scene at the end where everybody's like packed up, ready to leave the house, and they all get together. And I'm pretty sure it's because the producer's like, we can't end on the note that this was a waste. And so everybody's like, hey, it's been weird, but I think we all learned something. And there's a big group hug where everybody hugs. And then Bruno's like on the outside of the hug, like hugging everybody. But it really looks like the 5 people who aren't racist biggins are like hugging, and here comes Bruno like, hey, can I get some of this?
He's the odd man out, dude. He's not even like a member of any family.
Anyways, this is from 2006. How
many episodes?
6. I don't know.
I don't think I can do it, dude. I watched 3 seconds.
It is rough
of the slam poetry session. Yeah. Oh,
I haven't watched the whole thing either. I've only watched clips and stuff, and even that was enough for me. But I want to say is,
well, I know what we're doing while we eat. We're watching the whole thing.
My mind, there's the 2 things I have. Is like I said, it's 6 episodes. I don't know how I got to 6 episodes, and I have no idea, even in 2006, how this was pitched in a room full of people, and no one was like, no. This should not be a thing.
Well, like, the Bush years?
Yeah, I think that
was the Bush years.
I think that was the last of the Bush years. Yeah.
I feel like racism was a little softer in 2006.
Maybe.
It really ramped up when Obama got elected, and all the people came out of the woodwork that were been silent for like a couple of decades. Maybe they were like, okay, this is they got a little wild, and then we started kind of pushing and pulling, and then somebody realized, oh, we can make some money off this. And then it just kept pushing and pulling until
I just feel like
we got to our modern era.
Somebody in a room, you're all sitting down, and when somebody says, I got an idea for a show, I'm like, let's hear it. And then they get to the part of, so we're going to have a white family in blackface. The fact that nobody's like, brakes, everybody hit the brakes. What was that?
I mean, it's Ice Cube.
I know, that thing is, because that's what everyone would
rich.
say is, well, there obviously weren't any black people in the room. There was at least one, probably more. If Ice Cube, he probably brought an entourage that had other people involved. So I think like there were black people involved in this, and yet nobody was like,
look, this was also like, this is pre-2008.
Yes.
This is fat times.
Yes.
This was the end of the fat times.
Yes.
Money was everywhere. You could pitch anything, and someone would throw money at it.
Yes.
Just because to see if it would stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a time.
There was a different time.
Yeah. From like 1999 to 2006, like all the way to the end of 2006.
Yeah.
That was some pretty good times.
Yeah. If you had an idea, you could get it funded.
Just in general.
Yeah.
That was some good times.
Those were some good times. Yes.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break there. When we come back, we'll talk about Snowpiercer, the worst of times.
Bet you, Robert, you're glad to be out of this conversation.
Thank God. Thank God. Let me out. Let me out.
All right. We are back with Season 4, Episode 8 of Snowpiercer, Weeping Cross.
We got to talk again about these names.
Yeah.
The names of these episodes.
Yeah.
From the freedictionary.com.
Mm-hmm.
Weeping Cross, a cross erected on or by the highway, especially for the devotions of penitence, hence to return by the weeping cross, to return from some undertaking in humiliation or penance. First of all, that's just a clunky name. The only crosses I usually see by the highway are like someone died because they were speeding or drunk driving or something, lost control of their vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard anything about like you're supposed to like show reverence that you've like been bad, like you're a sinner and you're paying penance and humiliation to the...
I mean, it's probably, when it says cross on the side of the road, it's probably referring to like, you're thinking into today's time, but this term probably comes from back in the day, probably before we even had cars, horses. I mean, there's been road forever. So I feel like this weeping cross term, just like, what was it? The moth to the flame thing, or no, Belle the cat is a term from, middle-aged time. Like I imagine this weeping cross term is not referring to today in the sense,
Interesting.
And so I think like, yeah, probably back in, Crusader times or maybe even biblical
No,
times.
I don't think this is that old.
I think it's older than. I don't think when it talks about crosses on the side of the road, I don't think it's talking present day terms. Because like you said, crosses on the side of the road today are like, a victim who got hit by a drunk driver or a car crash that happened. So I just, like I said, there's no connection there. I think it's more thinking about.
I don't get what relation it has to this episode, though.
The only thing I can think about is not paying penance, but kind of maybe they kind of skewed it a little bit, paying respect, and that the weeping cross in this story was basically Ben's sacrifice, and
not everything can be about Ben's sacrifice.
I know
the whole last episode, the name of the episode
was basically seen as like he needed to protect what is it called, New Eden, or else Ben's sacrifice would be for no reason.
This would be a good name for an episode where if they had like made another round around the globe, and past some point where like Ben had died or somebody else important had died, and they were like having a party or a festival or a remembrance of this person that died at this location.
Yeah,
I just don't get what it.
Who knows?
And I'm not sure. I'm still playing on the idea that like they jumbled all the names in a hat and pulled them out.
So looking at the titles,
like
episode 1 was named Snakes in the Garden.
Okay,
that one makes sense to me.
Okay,
yeah, makes perfect sense. The betrayal that happens. I'm down with that. Episode 2 was the Sting of Survival. That still makes sense.
Yeah,
I can roll with that. So we're on. Every time I say something like this, I hate that it's Snowpiercer. We're on track to begin with.
Just roll with it, Donnell.
All right, that's the end of this podcast, folks. We'll get you caught up next week.
Look, this is the last season of Snowpiercer that we
gotta
get
get these
train
puns out. Episode 3 is Life Source. I can still get behind.
I don't
that
remember
one.
what was 3 about.
I mean, it's basically, let's see, looking at.
Oh, yeah, that's too much time.
Yeah.
Moving on.
I don't know, but then I think episode 4 is when things start to get weird with North Star.
Yeah.
But then episode 5 was good. That episode 5 was the episode that Ben dies, and that's the engineer.
Yeah,
so that was
makes
solid.
Sense. Yeah.
But then we get to Belle the cat, and that's where things start to get off rails. And now we have a Moth to the Flame. Didn't really work for the episode. And Weeping Cross. I will say, the last 2 episodes, I feel like their titles are okay. Especially the last episode. The last episode is just perfect for a show about train. Because the last episode is going to be called Last Stop. I'm like, yeah, it works perfectly. It's the end of the show. It's the last stop. That works perfectly. But yeah, I feel like in the middle here we go again. We ran out of steam. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, we need to finish this series so we don't have to be making train puns anymore.
Let's tap the brakes a bit.
Damn you. All right, let's get into this episode before this just gets off the rails. It's a good thing we don't have a big audience because they'd all be leaving.
Hobby monologue.
Yes, in Spanish.
Yeah, in Spanish until the very end.
That annoyed me too.
It killed me. It killed me. He says 876 cars.
Spanish has
in
numbers
English.
Too, and has a word for cars.
They know cars and long in
I'm
Spanish.
just like, what? Why? What was the point of that? Yeah, it really. I mean,
what was really hard
such
about
a
this
small detail. It's not like a major plot.
It's a huge
but
detail.
It killed that scene for me.
Yeah.
It literally did. I was like, what?
I was like, this is awesome that they're doing it in Spanish. I'll tell you what hurt me though is that in the modern day of sound engineering, you gotta watch everything in subtitle.
Yeah.
So I had like my subtitles going.
I had to turn off my subtitles.
And they were overlapping the embedded subtitles of his Spanish into English. And it was very difficult.
I had to turn off my subtitles for the opening scene and then turn them back on afterwards. And I was like, if Javi jumps into some more Spanish in this episode, it's gonna be it.
So I'm just like trying to read his embedded Spanish, and then above it is the subtitle speaking in Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
That's just bad subtitle work.
Just put speaking in Spanish and then what he's saying. Like,
yeah. Or you gotta, if it's embedded, you gotta put it at the top or something like that. Or I like how they did it in like John Wick, where it like came out of their mouths.
Yeah.
And it was like all over the place, and it like had color and all sorts of stuff. But that's I guess that's expensive.
That's
and
that's movie budget right
Yeah.
there. But yeah. So we get Javi's opening basically.
While that's going on, Alex comes in and says, "I'm in charge of the engine now."
Yep.
To the soldiers.
Yep. And we also we see that Javi that I mean we were both right and wrong because we were like, yeah, I think he disarmed the bomb, which he did not. He tried, but he did
delayed the bomb.
He did manage to get it off the train tracks before it blew up, and also survived somehow.
But look, he's on that bridge,
mm-hmm.
and it makes it clear to me that he fell to the ground.
Yeah,
he's dead.
He should be.
He's dead. He's definitely not getting up and fixing the power supply in a minute.
No. I did.
He's got broken bones. They should have him on a wheelchair.
Like a little bit later, they even say like, "Good thing you were far enough away." And I was like, "How? How was he far enough away?"
Look, you could be far enough away from the explosion not for it to kill you instantly,
mm-hmm.
but enough for it to blow you off the bridge.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was like.
But also,
10
what caused
stories.
the explosion if he was far enough away from it? Like, it would have to be either the process of moving the bomb, which would mean he was moving the bomb, so he'd be right there, or he was trying to disarm the bomb, which once again he would be right there.
He froze it.
Yeah.
He froze it and then threw it. So I'm assuming that it was like it woke up.
Delayed by the
and then like got an accelerometer trigger in it or something like that. I'm fine with that part.
Okay.
The part I'm not fine with him is falling 10 stories onto his back and being just fine.
It's very soft snow, Robert.
I'm just
kidding.
There's no snow. We're in New Eden, okay? He falls on the rock.
There is snow.
I would have been much better. Like, it's the last season.
Mm-hmm.
I know you got budget and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just put him in a wheelchair or in a gurney or something and wheel him around and have him talk you through.
I only got to have him do 2 more episodes in a wheelchair.
Just have him talk you through how to fix everything.
Yep.
Because he is like got a broken back or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for the fact that he's up and walking around with his glasses not broken and all this, like, it's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is like the worst episode of the season so far. This has been a pretty good season.
Mm-hmm.
It's had some falters here
and there,
but
overall,
this is like kind of a boring episode.
A little boring, and I mean, it's definitely and I feel like I have 2 theories about the last 2 episodes, but I definitely feel like this episode is 100% what you would call a setup episode. Like, we're just getting all the pieces in place.
Because it ends at, like, it's getting exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're getting all the pieces in place so we can have a big bang finale. And so, while it is boring and definitely the worst episode, I understand it because this isn't the first.
It's not terrible. I don't want to say it's terrible.
This isn't the first.
The worst episode.
Yeah, this isn't the first show that's done this. Like, there's plenty where you're just like, especially like I said, the episode. If you're doing a 10 season show, I'd say episode 6, 7, sometimes 8, 6, 7, 8. And sometimes 9 if they're really holding out to the last minute. Like, there's a good chance one of those episodes is going to be just hey, we've been telling all this story. Now we need to get everything in place so we can do the conclusion. Yep. And so there's just let's get all our ducks in a row, and then we can go off.
We get a brief scene with Josie and Leighton.
Yep.
And Liana in the cars. We were wondering how they were going to get out. I didn't realize they were that close to the silo.
Yeah.
But Leighton's able to call to the silo, or which one called to? Somebody called
Leighton
to the silo.
Does. He finds an old box, and he's like, these things run on very little energy, so he can. So he managed to get a call out right before the energy cuts out. And I was just like, and I mean, like I said, the next time we see him, this is happening. I was like, even if there is any type of energy in this thing, like this car, with how cold the world's supposed to be, this car is dropping in temperature.
Well, I mean, they go into that, right?
Yeah, they did go into it.
So let's talk about that because it all kind of, there's like a couple little things going on, and they all kind of convalesce into like a big crescendo at the end.
Yeah.
That we're going to get to see the result of in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
He sends out the message.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. I loved it. I love this. I hated it. But I loved it.
Love it / hate it.
That Roche shows up.
Yes.
We've been wondering where he's been.
I was like, who is it? And so we hear some knocking, and also the door opens like, oh no, it's one of the soldiers. And he's like, hey, it's cool. And I was like, is that Roche? And he takes it, and I was like, I literally paused it. I paused. I was like, no. You can't just have a Roche show up out of nowhere and be like, here I am.
That
to
was
save
the whole
day.
comedy bit of this episode, and
it
fell short, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Well, I think it did / didn't.
It's a mixed bag.
Well, the reason, so I'll just go say my theory. I have a small theory that episode 9 is going to be the roast episode, where we're going to see like because even the story jump to that.
Let's talk about
the story he tells at the end eventually is proven to be a farce.
If they didn't give us the last 9 months, we're not getting the full Roche story. I'm sorry to say. I really wish. There's a part of me
here's the thing.
Up until the bit, I mean, even when he told the story, there's a part of me that's like, is Roche a bad guy?
Is he the one who?
Because he's always talking about. Well, no, I don't know about that. But he's always talking about like at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what's best for my daughter.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that's like he was captured,
made a deal,
and he made a deal to get the suit and the snowcat.
Yeah.
And it's like, you let me and my daughter back over here to the silo after all this is done. I'll go and be your plant on the other side.
Good twist that I would hate also because I love the character, but sometimes that's what you need. I don't think that's it. And the reason why I feel like episode 9.
I mean, I don't think that's it either.
Yeah.
But I would accept it coming.
Yeah, me too. That because like I would hate it but love it. Like that's they're like people always talking like, oh, how do you write a compelling story or a compelling character? And so many people, and I talk. This is mainly in video games, but even in shows, is like, oh, what makes a character compelling is that they give their life in the end. I'm like, no, that's a played out trope. That to have the heroes die at the end is, unless you can do it well, is a played out trope, and that doesn't build your character. You're just taking the easy road. Where if this roast thing happened, I'd be like, that's how you make it compelling. 'Cause it's like, yeah, like no one saw it coming. You built up this character. But no, so my theory of why episode 9 is going to be about what happened with Rose. One is because they got to tell us. Some degree.
They don't
got
to
tell
tell
us
us
story.
anything, Donnell. Can we talk about the pre-story though? So he's in the snowcat and he's talking to Josie, and she's about to tell his crazy story.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. And he was like, literally, once again, I pause again because Josie's like, I'd love to hear it. And it's like, oh, let me tell you. And then Leighton's like, Josie, and I was like, I pause like, no, I don't give a damn about what Josie and Leighton need to talk about now.
I'm with you 100%.
I know they're important characters. I know that Leighton's like the main character. There's a big
The man
point.
just said crazy story.
He just saved his daughter. I know all of that. I don't care. Shut up and go back to sleep, Leighton. We have to hear Rose's story.
He whispers under his breath so much that they didn't even do a subtitle for it that he says, I guess I'll tell you later. And then there's a moment later
where he's
about to start the story.
Till and Oz.
And then
he's like, tell me.
Yeah.
Tell.
And then it gets interrupted.
Yep.
And then later on, he's at the bar, at the pub, and he starts to tell the story. And I really, at that point,
I thought for sure
I really wanted the horn, like a blaring steam engine horn from Big Alice to go off and stop him from telling the story.
I thought for sure they were going to do it again.
I wanted that to happen because
me too.
The second time I was like, oh, that's funny. But by the third time, I was just like, no, I don't want to hear this story. I want them to keep that running gag going. I don't want to ever find out what happened to Roche.
I'm not that
far. Mystery.
I wanted them to. I wanted for maybe the characters never to find out. But I was like, I need to know. That's why, and I still, like I said, that's why.
It would have been good if they had shown us, but it was a completely lame story. But he kept telling everybody that it was a crazy story.
Crazy story. And then it's just like he didn't even get captured. He just kind of got lost, stumbled upon a dead soldier, took his gear, and found the snow. And you're just like, that's it. But yeah, so we don't know how, but somehow Rose got a snowcat.
Well, he tells a story about it. I don't know if it's realistic or not.
No, they laugh about it after. Like, it's not a true. Like one is he gets to the Bigfoot part.
Yeah, and
then he even he's joking with his daughter, like, oh, you didn't think Dad was stealthing around taking out guys. So like, yeah, it's very obvious.
I believe that up until the Bigfoot.
I don't because like I said, Rhodes literally says to his daughter, oh, you don't believe your dad was stealthing around, and they laugh like, haha, of course not. So then that's why I'm like, no, it's. Very much.
No, okay. I'm with you.
And so my thing is like, that's why we need to know what the real story is, even if it is lame. Honestly, it would be funny if it was lame. If the story was.
There's just something about the way that maybe I'm overreading too much into. I'm thinking like, oh, this is like a master class in acting and like storytelling when it's really not. But something tells me like he's not on the good side. He's like,
but I love the character.
I know, but I think he's like, okay, well, what's best for my daughter is to keep this going.
Anyways, Leighton and Josie get saved, and we'll pick up with them and Rose once they get back, because everybody does, except for even the main main train. Part of it gets to New Eden. So yeah, but everyone does eventually make it New Eden. We get back at New Eden. They get Javi to the dock or inside, and they get a call from Big Eyes, like, "Can we come home?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then the next scene, and I get part of it's probably just for, once again, production and money, and not having the money to do CGI. But like the next scene is just everybody walking into town.
Yeah.
Who was on Big Alice, and I was like, "Where's Big Alice?"
Like,
they just all got off of it off screen, and you're just like, I guess we probably just don't have the budget to be doing this train.
We get a brief scene with Till being outside, for the first time ever,
and
actually, since she got on the train, years ago, and she goes and meets up with Audrey. There's a significant portion of time on this episode spent on Till and Audrey. And I really just don't care.
So here's what I will say. There's two things. One is I want to jump back to the Javi's intro. Is he brought up something we talked about last episode about how when they first got off the train, being on solid ground was weird to them.
It would mess you up.
And then they got their legs. I'm like, that's exactly what we were talking about last season. I like that Javi at least mentioned it in his opening.
Yeah.
But then Till kind of experiences some of that. But yeah, honestly, everybody who just got off of Snowpiercer and Big Alice, like Till and them, they should be having
I'd be wobbling.
Till is too stable right now. So he just got off the train for the first time in 7 years. Like, you don't just be like, "Oh, here we go."
Well, we don't know if she spent any time in the silo. Probably
True,
not,
but they didn't really seem to. But anyways, no, I'm with you with the Till and Audrey thing. I've never been a big fan of their storyline, and then also like this. But I will say
I don't mind it being an aspect of the characters, but like they're just putting too much time.
They're putting way too much time on it. But I did enjoy a little bit of the scenes with them, just because this was the first time it felt at least somewhat genuine. Like not the actor doing it, but just like I said, the whole time I've always felt, and the main reason I've had an issue with it is because it just came out of so left field and was so rushed. And I was just like, this relationship doesn't make any sense. Just here it is. And this was the first time in the whole series, I guess it's only season 3 was when it was developed, but the first time where I was like, okay, I can see how these two could be together. This was the first time. Like I said, I still was like, this is too much. I don't need a whole bunch of it. But I was like, okay, no, this is the first time I'm like, no, Till and Audrey makes a semblance of sense. But before this episode, I was like, this is just forced. You're just forcing it in here for some reason. But yeah, we do get to see that. Like we kind of talked about earlier, this is our first time seeing Audrey since she got out of the what I forget what the track runners or whatever they're called.
I don't remember the little cars.
Yeah,
I don't remember what they're called.
I can't remember either. But yeah, so we get to see that Audrey definitely has some scarring from being ejected before the thing was completely closed, and she's definitely grappling with that. Probably because she's a person who's always been in her mind accepted because of her beauty or whatever, and now that's all gone. But yeah. Anyways, moving on from there.
I mean, look, this is like post-apocalypse world. Okay? With a little smashed up face. Okay? It's just everybody's got a smashed up face. Okay? That's the way it goes.
But Audrey didn't until now. She was like the beautiful one. That was her whole stick in her mind.
She's got the #1 selling album in the post-apocalyptic future, Donnell.
Well, man, I don't know if it's #1 selling because no one's buying it.
That's because it's the only one in existence.
I'm about to say #1 played, maybe. Getting that airtime.
Yeah.
So then we're back on Snowpiercer, and like I said, Alex is driving the train, and then Nima gets her to, work on taking Big Alice. And the whole time, and eventually it does come to head, the whole time Alex is going along with this, like, I know that he doesn't, until a little bit later, she doesn't know that her mom, is in danger. But I'm just like, they're literally talking about, like, and Nima even recruits her, and she works out a plan, taking Big Alice. And I'm like, what do you think is going to happen? There's no peaceful, you're like, because you also know, like, even let's say everything about Nima's on the up and up. He wants to save the world. His compound works. It's going to change everything. At the end of the day, the people of New Eden will not live long enough for that without Big Alice for that to happen. So no matter what, there's no scenario where taking Big Alice doesn't lead to a fight with your allies. And the fact that Alex is like, let me see if I can figure this out. I was like, what?
Also, I didn't like, it seemed they made it out in this episode that Alex was like, I'm going along with it. Like I'm on board.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
exactly what I'm
no.
saying.
Alex, you've spent the last 7 years doing intellectual battle with someone who has been manipulating and gaslighting you.
Yeah.
And you have broken free of that.
Yes.
So much so that you can now do battle with this person, which is Wilford.
Yeah. Right.
And now Nima's gonna manipulate you.
Yeah, like
and
I
win
said,
you over.
and I did.
Not gonna happen.
While I was watching this episode, I was thinking, okay, like Alice, and maybe she is, but the end of this episode really made it seem like it wasn't. But I was like, for a while, I was like, no, Alex is playing some 4D chess.
No, that's what I'm saying. Alex would be playing 5D chess. She would
like
run
I said,
circles
the way this
around
episode
Nima.
ended, and maybe like I said, maybe they're gonna like bring it back in the next 2 episodes. But the way this episode ended, it really made me feel like, no, she just went with it. And that's the part
crazy.
that yeah, that's the part that gets me. Like I said, they got 2 episodes, and maybe they're gonna just like, no, Alex always had a plan. She got something going.
and the whole stupid idea is like they're just gonna let Alex waltz in and take the train.
Yeah,
never gonna happen.
Never.
Yeah,
not at all. No one
maybe when it's outside the turn.
Yeah.
And can we talk about that for a goddamn second? Why is the train not pulled all the way into the station?
The only thing I could think is,
I guess they know the bombs are there.
Yeah,
but still,
and like they're using it.
You
as
need
a
mutually.
safety
You need MAD. You need mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
If you blow the bombs,
well, that's
you
what they
destroy
do.
the train.
Ultimately, that is what they do.
Do they blow the bombs?
No, they put the train where if the bombs.
No, I'm
go
saying,
off.
but
yeah.
why was it not already?
Yeah, well, because the only thing I can think is because like wherever Big Alice was parked is where they like have all the connections and hook up for power and everything. So I don't know why that wasn't always where, but they would have just, if it was always there, they would have set up bombs differently anyway. So that's my thing is like, I think it's more of a for telling the story, but like basically it was like, yeah, no, it's parked over here. That's where all the hookups for it to be a generator are. But if we bring it over here, it's in danger of the bombs and stuff. And so, anyways, yeah. So we get Big Alice back in town. We've got to bring up, we get Javi getting it hooked back up to power coming back on. And we see the cart powering back up. And the whole time I'm just thinking, why? Like I said, they did eventually consolidate, but we've talked about it a bunch. I'm just like, yeah, the power's coming back on, but like, all these carts that are coming back on should be like dead because no one's been using them since Big Alex
Also, we
left.
got like extra people back, and the food cars are dead.
Yeah,
at least half of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about a little sidebar here.
Okay, sidebar.
Javi and Skies.
Ah, you were getting
I'm
that too.
liking Javi and Skies. I've been getting
that
vibe for a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And
Me
I'm
too.
in it.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for I'm
I'm a little scared.
I'm team Javi Skies.
I'm
I don't know how to say it. I don't know
scared.
what a way to combine those 2 words. Scabby?
Scabby? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Scabby. No, I'm right. I wasn't gonna.
Scabby.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but actually, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you know what, these 2?
Yeah,
I could.
They're
ship
jiving.
These 2.
They
I
got
like
chemistry
they
on
got some
screen.
Chemistry.
Put these 2 in a movie somewhere. I'll watch it. Yeah.
What was I gonna say about them? Oh yeah, I definitely am right there with you, and that's why I'm also scared. Like, especially with it, like I feel like in the next 2 episodes we're gonna lose some key characters. And I could easily see, like, I can see Javi going out. I could see Skies going out.
Audrey's gonna sacrifice herself because she doesn't want to live. She's kind of suicidal already. I feel.
I feel like the other way. I actually feel like Till's gonna die.
I think Leighton's gonna
and
die.
Audrey's gonna live, but it's gonna be a thing of like she's gonna learn how to live on after losing Till. Like,
I think Ruth is gonna die. I think Javi's gonna take over as the leader.
Okay. In that scenario, I feel like I think Ruth. I can agree with Ruth. I think Leighton.
Bogey's definitely gonna die.
Yeah, which I hate that we brought Bogey back.
Know.
Just like when I'm glad he's not dead.
Dude, I love when he showed up and like
just comes walking in.
I could have used a solid 3 episodes of Bogey and Josie interactions.
Yeah.
They are like peas in a pod. They have a very dynamic.
Unique bond that nobody else has. Well, I guess Liana does and Wilford now, but you know.
I mean, I would love to see like Bogey and Josie and Liana live and like have the baby with them. Right. And they're just like, well, we're the snow people.
Maybe that's what this season like. What if everything goes sideways? Everybody's dying. The Big Alice explodes, and then it's just like, those 3 are just like.
Bogey and Josie repopulate the new
Adam
and Eve.
Yeah, time to start over.
I hate it.
It would be terrible.
I hate it.
But
for this moment in this show, their interactions were really good.
Yeah. I just like I said, the thing that gets me though is like literally we've been talking about for episodes now. Where's Boki? Where's Boki? And there's no
He is
grand
underutilized
entrance.
in this season.
He just comes
He's
walking in like, hey,
I
how's
want
everybody
to
doing?
rewatch the series just for Boki. He's such a good character.
And the fact that he's probably dying next episode.
I hate it.
I hate it. I could use some more of him.
Because he got shot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And it looked like, he could live, but like, you would need really good, because there's a clean gut shot.
There's no
it
hospital.
Comes out the back and like stomach wounds, especially with them open and acid.
There's no modern hospital to take him to. Okay,
Exactly.
This is post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Exactly.
You're screwed. Yeah.
What was I going to talk about though? Oh, another thing that I liked in this episode was getting to see a reunion of the Brakemen. We got Oz, and we got
Till
and Roche, and just like them having that moment, I was like, I like that. That. It's just nice to see.
I mean, I'm not saying this is like a bad episode.
No,
there's definitely moments in it.
It's getting things in place.
Out of all the other episodes, this is nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like I said, next episode might be a Roche.
I mean,
episode,
either way. So there's Leighton asked Roche to be the godfather of Lyanna in case he dies, because he's going to go out to war, obviously, which is fine. And then this kind of ends with
of all the people to ask, though, I'm like, Roche is going to be right there next to you, man.
True.
Roche is going out to war too.
Yeah, no, you need to line up a lot. You need like a fifth, second, third, fourth, and fifth tier godfather for everybody in the camp. It's like there's a big web.
There is one other thing I want to bring up. And I went back and watched the episode just to make sure before I said this, because like maybe you were right, maybe they got separated, but they did not. It is 100% a conscious decision. All parties are involved. Josie, for me, Josie will forever have a blemish on her for the fact that literally, because at the end of last season, like they said, they made it kind of clear, like, yeah, we hope that one day Snowpiercer and New Eden can get back together, but this also may be the last time we ever see each other. And the fact that Josie left her son Miles, and like, because there's a scene in this where they see each other again for the first time, and they hug, and I was like, I just feel so wrong about that. Like, I get you're in love with Leighton, but he is your son that you fought to, and like in the same scene where they're all leaving and they're making a choice, because Leighton was like, I guess we're watching each other's child, because Alex chooses to go to New Eden. We're like, why am I not mad at Melody? I was like, one is because Melody and her daughter, which Alex, you could say is a reason for them to stay together, but have spent a majority of the time separated. Plus Alex is a full-grown woman making her own choices. Miles at max is 15 years old, and Josie's like, see ya, son, maybe never see you again, but I'm going with the man I love. And I'm like, what?
It's post-apocalyptic world, Donnell. It's harsh.
I guess.
Anyway.
But she will always have a blemish in my mind. Like, I like Josie as a character, but there's still a part of me like, really though?
I don't understand how they got this close to unleash Alex and a couple of stealth soldiers to try and get into the base. Without some lookout seeing. I mean, it's Snowpiercer. It's a big ass train.
Also, like they
and it can only arrive on the one track that exists.
And they specifically also said, like in the previous scene, like Leighton says, "Oh, hey, we got watchers. We get like people were literally set up to be looking for anything out of place." So to me, I'm like, yeah. How did they sneak in? Especially with Alex was wearing like a colorful coat. Yeah, like at least the soldiers were wearing white white armor and stuff. But I don't know how they got.
It's ridiculous. But anyway, they get there. All hell breaks loose. Yeah, and the battle has started, and that's where the episode ends.
We're two episodes away, man.
2 episodes, yeah.
We're 2 episodes away.
So we got the battle of the next episode, and then we got a wrap up. Episode. Yeah.
And just how it'll be interesting. It's interesting to think about, not that they're related, but just the Snowpiercer movie. And how the show and like the Snowpiercer movie ends in such a weird place with like basically it's like 3 people alive as far as we know, and stuff where like we don't know how the show ends.
I mean, there's a comic book, like there is a graphic novel, which I've never read. I've tried, but I just haven't gotten into it.
Yeah, I thought about picking it up actually because I read about this. But yeah, just think about the ending of the movie and how like it's kind of like hopeful, but also when you think about it big picture without seeing the graphic novel, you're just like, no, there are 3 people. Even though it's warm enough, like they have no supplies, They have.
Yeah.
They're walking out into the snowy land. Like, even if it's warm enough to survive, at night it's going to get really cold. And they're like, no, if there was a...
And also they're staring down a polar bear.
Yeah. That probably has not been eating well. So he's just like, hey, free lunch?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just so much with it. It was like, they ended like, oh, and these three go off to start off the new world. It's like, no, if this movie continues on for 30 minutes, they're all dead. But,
Yeah, there's like a saying, like, if it's brown, lie down. If it's black, run something. And if it's white, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I'm just like, but with this show, it's like, I mean, like I said, maybe the show will also end on the same sort of bleak note, but I guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'm just like, the movie ends in a hopeful note that, if you think about, is honestly very bleak.
I'm sure that's how this will end.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a hopeful note that is bleak in the end.
Yeah.
Much like The Road or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As always, you can find us on our website, watchinitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and to email us, watchinitpod@gmail.com. Donnell, what else should they do?
Well, as we've already alluded to, we're cooking up some new ideas, trying some new stuff. I think one of the things we're doing, kind of bringing back, kind of starting new. We're gonna be doing like a little short episodes, little mini-sodes, little talking it sorts, or
little
watching it
midweek
sorts.
treat.
Yeah. So just be on the lookout for that. You know, quick 5-10 minute little Donnell and Robert, just to brighten your day. Look out for those, and then as always, give us any rated reviews, 5 stars, and thanks so much for listening. Bye.